And it's not that they removed the books, they put the books on a shelf that then I could look at. And I gave them this criteria. And if you notice, it'll say keep, recommendation to keep or leave, damage, delete, keep one, get rid of one. And then we use this for buying the materials that we had to actually get again that were damaged. So then the lessons that took place as well involved the kids. The kids wanted to be a big part of it, and so they were. So I had lessons for the kids to come in, and first I taught them how to use advanced search, and then we set a criteria, and the criteria was a copyright date, and then to find books that hadn't been checked out, or not actually hadn't been checked out, find the books that they had to be on the shelf, but they found the books that met that criteria, and then they examined them. So they had the choice of where to go in the collection, and I figured many hands make light work. And it really gave them a sense that they were helping to curate our collection as well. Oh, this was a byproduct. So this takes me back to our first speaker, Hannah, who talked a little bit about the books that the books that you don't see yourself in. And so when I think about this, I think about the accurate representation of the people that we do see in our books. So unbeknownst to me, I thought my collection was healthy. Not so much. These were the only books I had in hygiene. And when you look at those covers, you realize there's a big problem with it. And I never would have realized it had I not embarked on this process. So what did we do? We removed all of these fixed tables here, and we replaced them with whiteboard tables down the line. We're stuck with a library that looks like a railroad track, so you've got to live with what you've got. The next thing we did was we got rid of the circulation desk. We said, that's not going to work. We want to put in as much flexible shelving as possible, and we want to put in as much flexible areas as possible for kids to be able to check out books if we redesign our spaces. So this is an assisted checkout station, and there are multiple, and they're on wheels, so we can move them anywhere. Let's give you another couple of pictures. So then there's one on both ends, and we changed the seating around the columns, and then the kids started, they designed the spaces for where these tables would go, and we made little nooks, and then here is a quiet reading area, and it's enclosed, and you can see the before was that space, and here it is now. So we had to eliminate quite a few books. And the multi-purpose space. Unfortunately, I had to retrain the IAs. They were like, Mrs. Brundage, those children are in that room. Well, yeah, they're in that room because it's for them. It's not for teachers. And so we had parent volunteers, and I know that Gonger came, so I've got to stop in just a moment. Our parent volunteers came in the morning before school, and they helped with the students. This last photo was a woman who taught the children Chinese chess, and then the students taught each other. Here's a boy who's fixing a broken game, and he had to use the 3D printer with multiple iterations. So that was really cool. And finally, I'll just show you, we have an airport, and all sorts of things happening, and including service learning. So these boys, we have blind women from the Institute of the Blind come in, and they give massages to teacher once a week. And these boys said, well, they can't get around, so let's go ahead and help them. And so they took it upon themselves to do that. And here's the last slide, and this is that room. So expect the unexpected. Do all of those things, and you too can renovate. Thank you.
Okay, last one. All right, my name is Matthew, and I'm from Nexus International School, which is just down the road, and then down another road. And I'm here to talk to you about board games in the library. Now, about this time last year, I got a bright idea that it might be a good idea to put board games in our school. I just want to share with you some of our experiences of that. I had to scale this way back to get it in 10 minutes. So why board games in particular? Well, the obvious and easy answer is, and the lazy answer is because they're fun, because they're really, really amazing. And I've grown up all my life playing games, and I strongly encourage it in other people. But there are some more specific reasons. So obviously, to start developing a culture of playing games within the school. And of course, there are many reasons for this. I will go through some more of them later. But some more specific reasons, I wanted to create more diversity. When I say diversity, I mean diversity in the types of resources that we have. Rather than just people thinking of us as just a place for books, we wanted them to rethink about what the library actually is. And I thought board games would be a good way to do that. And also on top of that, one thing you should know that about our school is one, that we're a whole school. So we go from 4 years old to 18 years old. So we've got a whole range of ages there, a whole range of academic abilities. And we're also an inclusive school. So obviously we have an AP program, we might have children who are on the spectrum somewhere, and they have different needs as well. And the reality of some of them is that they're just not readers, and they will never be readers. But I still like having them there, really like having them there. And if I have time, maybe I'll tell some anecdotes about that, but I will be pushing it. And yes, of course, to reinforce some key skills. People think playing games as being something frivolous that you would just do and forget about. But actually, there's a lot of key skills and practicing what is in the curriculum and reinforcing the school ethos. I say key skills, I mean things like problem solving, learning about induction, practicing critical thinking, all those things you do within games. And it's, from my experience, very effective. And when I say the school ethos, of course, one of our big things is about cooperative learning. And cooperative games in themselves are a whole genre. And, well, we'll see if we get time for anecdotes. So, with our school, as I said, we're a whole school. And in our case, we only have 4 staff. And in primary, we have regular weekly library lessons with them. But that stops when they get to year 7. And coincidentally, that's also when they get to have a lot more access to their MacBooks. And as you can probably guess, that means we see them a lot less. And they spend a lot more time engaging with their computers than they do actually interacting with each other. And because of the push in this school to actually get them to use their devices a little bit less, or at least, at very least, use it more for schoolwork, the emphasis that they should be interacting with each other more. And of course, we come back to board games, and this is perfect for that. Now I want to take a few steps back, because when a lot of people think of board games, and this has changed a lot recently, because in the past 20, 25 years, they've really come a long way. However, you would never know that if you walked into Toys R Us. Because you would, and I used to work at Toys R Us, it used to be one of my first jobs, and this is what you would see. You would see 27 different versions of Monopoly, and Jenga, and Uno, and chess, and okay, there might be merits for some of those, but really you're not going to engage the kids or keep them for very long if this is all you have. So this is what we have. And it's by the way, it's a very small selection. It's less than 15 games. And yeah, so this is what we started with, and this is what we started to build up. And we only have Monopoly and chess and Uno and those games because they were donated to us by our CCA group. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought them. But this is what we have. And maybe you're familiar with some of them, maybe you've seen them up in the shops, maybe not. But I'll come back to this in a bit. So what have our response been from the learners? Well, we set out to engage the learners and to sort of get them back, especially with secondary. But we got engagement and we got it in spades. They really took to it in a big way. And it's not uncommon during break times and lunch times and after school to see several tables just set up and the kids are there playing games. That's very encouraging. And certainly at this point, I think at Nexus, if anyone doesn't know that there are board games in the library, then I don't know what they've been doing for the past year. But yeah, we achieved our goal, but it was hard fought. So yeah, we had in the schools before in the library, before, during break times and after school. But on top of that, we had board game clubs and we had